Have you ever tipped a waiter? Have you ever opened a tab at a bar? Or perhaps, have you ever winked at a woman you don't know? Well, my friend, in Iowa, you might just find yourself on the wrong side of the law. Yes, that's right. The state of Iowa has a collection of laws that, although outdated, are still technically enforceable. Let's start with a law that might make you rethink your grooming habits. Imagine you're in Des Moines, Iowa on a charming evening out. The moonlight is just right, the stars are twinkling, and you feel the perfect moment to lean in and kiss your significant other. But hold on. If you have a mustache, you might want to think twice. In the heart of Iowa, it's actually illegal for mustached men to kiss women in public. This bizarre law dates back to the early 1900s and was supposedly enacted to spare women from the ticklish and potentially unhygienic experience of kissing a man with facial hair. It's a curious peek into the societal norms of the past, where such a personal matter was deemed significant enough to legislate. The intent behind this law could have been rooted in the belief that facial hair might harbor bacteria, or simply in the preference for a clean-shaven look as more refined and gentlemanly. So, gentlemen, if you're planning on some public displays of affection in Des Moines, you might want to consider a clean shave. While this law is likely not enforced today, it remains a quirky reminder of how societal standards can shape even the most intimate aspects of our lives. Now, let's say you've gone ahead and shaved off that mustache. You're in the clear, right? Not so fast. In the state of Iowa, it's illegal for a kiss to last longer than 5 minutes. Yes, you heard that correctly. This peculiar law, still lingering in the books, seems to be aimed at preventing excessive public displays of affection. Imagine this. You're caught up in a whirlwind of romance. The world fades away, and time stands still, until you realize, oh no, 5 minutes have just flown by. The clock becomes your unexpected third wheel in the romance. This quirky legislation, rooted in a bygone era when public decorum was stringently regulated, doesn't specify the consequences of breaching the 5-minute rule. But the very existence of such a law adds a bizarre twist to romantic encounters. It's as if the lawmakers of yesteryear envisioned a world where love needed a timer, blending the intimate with the absurd. So, if you're planning a romantic rendezvous in Iowa, keep an eye on your watch, because when the timer hits 5 minutes, your innocent kiss might just make you an unsuspecting lawbreaker. It's a curious relic of history, a testament to how societal norms have evolved, yet also a reminder of the strange and whimsical ways the past can linger into the present. Moving on to Cedar Rapids, where things get even more mystical. In this city, it's illegal to read a person's palms within the city limits. That's right, fortune tellers, palm readers, and anyone with a knack for the mystical arts, beware. This strange ordinance was enacted in the early 20th century, likely in an effort to protect the good citizens of Cedar Rapids from being swindled by dubious con artists posing as seers. Imagine walking down the bustling streets, shrouded in a haze of mystery and the unknown, only to find that your quest for insight into your future is thwarted by an old law. Those seeking to peer into the crystal ball or have their lifelines examined would have to venture beyond the city's boundaries. This prohibition adds a layer of suspense and intrigue to the city's atmosphere, hinting at a past where mystical practices were both feared and fascinating. While today it might seem like an outdated relic, the law still stands, whispering tales of a time when the mystical arts were viewed with suspicion and caution. So, if you're in Cedar Rapids and eager for a glimpse into your destiny, remember to step outside the city limits, where the secrets of your future can legally unfold. Next, let's travel to Ottumwa, a charming city where men must be extra cautious with their facial expressions. Here, an old law from the 1800s prohibits a man from winking at any woman he doesn't know. This peculiar regulation likely aimed to curb inappropriate or unwanted advances, reflecting a time when a mere wink could be perceived as an audacious act of flirtation. Imagine the scene. A bustling street, a man catches the eye of a passerby and, with a twinkle in his eye, offers a playful wink. But in Ottumwa, that innocent gesture could land him in hot water. This quirky law serves as a reminder that even the simplest actions can carry significant weight, especially in a society striving to maintain decorum and respect. So, gentlemen, when in Ottumwa, think twice before you let that cheeky wink slip. What seems like harmless fun might just make you a lawbreaker. Our journey continues to Marshalltown, where the local government seems to have had an interesting concern. In this town, horses are forbidden to eat fire hydrants. You might be thinking, horses eating fire hydrants? That's absurd. And you'd be right, it does sound preposterous. This law, however, might hint at an era when protecting public infrastructure was paramount, and perhaps someone feared that these hefty animals, known for their powerful jaws, could cause damage if left unchecked. Or maybe it was the product of an overzealous legislator's imagination, striving to cover every possible base, no matter how outlandish. Regardless of its origins, this law still stands as a quirky reminder of a time when lawmakers took every potential scenario into account. So, if your horse has an unusual appetite for metal, especially in Marshalltown, you might want to steer clear of those fire hydrants to avoid becoming an unlikely outlaw. Now, think that you're in Mount Vernon, Iowa, and you suddenly get the bizarre urge to hurl bricks or stones onto a highway. Before you act on this strange impulse, you better get your paperwork in order. That's right, because in Mount Vernon, there's a law that mandates obtaining written permission from the city council before you can engage in such an activity. This peculiar regulation, likely dating back to a time when ensuring road safety was paramount, is still technically enforceable today. One can only imagine the scenarios that led to this law's creation. Was it a spree of reckless brick-throwing incidents, or just an overly cautious city council? Either way, if you're planning on some unconventional target practice, be prepared for a potentially long wait for that official stamp of approval. This quirky requirement adds an unexpected layer of bureaucracy to an already unusual pastime, making Mount Vernon a uniquely interesting place. Finally, let's take a look at a law that might make you reconsider your choice of parking spot. In Iowa, it's a crime to use a dead person's handicapped parking sign or license plate. This law is pretty straightforward and makes sense in terms of preventing fraud, but the backstory is intriguing. Imagine the scene: a bustling parking lot, a coveted handicapped spot, and a person slyly placing a sign that doesn't belong to them. The law was likely enacted to stop people from exploiting these signs, ensuring that only those truly in need have access to these spots. This regulation might seem oddly specific, but it hints at a time when such deceptive practices were common enough to warrant legal attention. It's a small but significant measure to uphold fairness and respect for the disabled community. So, the next time you park, remember this unusual yet crucial piece of legislation designed to protect those who need it most. So there you have it, folks. 7 of the weirdest laws in Iowa that are sure to leave you scratching your head. These quirky rules offer a fascinating glimpse into the past and make us wonder what life was like when they were enacted. Have you encountered any strange laws or had a run-in with these peculiar regulations? Share your stories in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more weird and wonderful tales from the world of laws. After all, who knows what other oddities lurk in the legal books of America? Stay curious and stay weird.